We are now going to cross the threshold into that sacred space of exploring the archetypes of humanity, which are the roles that you play in your families, in your companies, in your communities, but also the roles that exist within you and those conversations and relationships that are happening that define your journey. This is going to be your primary archetype. It doesn't mean that you don't have access to the other three. It doesn't mean that there's a best or a worst. It simply means that you've spent the majority of your time forming the habits, forming the patterns that have actually created a groove or an identity or personality, which is the role that you play in social situations. Most of this was determined before the age of 7. And the Jesuits say, "Give me that boy till age 7 and I will give you the man." Whatever house you're in, pay particular attention to the diagonal. These are the people that are the opposite to you. They're the ones that are therefore going to complete you. When we look at long-term partnerships, and this is either personal or professional and over 10 years, these are the most successful, resilient partnerships in people's lives. Over 90% are going to be diagonal. We are designed as humans to be able to partner well with the people that complete us. So take particular care and good notes when we are unpacking the diagonal quadrant. And we're going to start with the upper right-hand quadrant, which is high connection and low struggle. These are the people who are compassionate, they're empathetic. They live off of relationships and it's their primary focus. We can call these the allies on the journey. We can call these the best friends, the amiables, the people who are built for support and connection. And in mythology, we call these the lovers. The goal of lovers is relationships. It means that they're passionate, they're empathetic, they're connected, and they speak that language of relationships. They have probably the most mirror neurons of any of the houses of the archetypes. And mirror neurons are the type of neuron that is triggered when a member of our tribe is having an emotional or physical experience. It's the reason why when somebody yawns, that yawn will drift around the room. It's because the strength of the wolf is the pack. The strength of the tribe is the individual, and we need to stay together. Our mirror neurons are the way that we enforce this. And the lovers in our tribe are the people who have the most mirror neurons and the most social skills because they're focused on that currency of relationships. The shadow of the lover is the fact that because relationships are so vitally important, sometimes they will not risk the conflict involved in dealing with some of the storming that we have to go through. Oftentimes, lovers will avoid conflict and they will sometimes not set healthy boundaries. Oftentimes, when the other archetypes are on quests and missions, they will be delegating roles to the lover, and oftentimes the lover has already taken on so many challenges and so many tasks that they should say, "I've got so many rocks already." And then they acquiesce and say, "Just put that rock in my backpack and I'll carry it along with all the other ones." Not setting healthy boundaries means that our lovers will at some point break. And when they break, all of our resiliency goes rushing out of the tribe and we come to a screeching halt. The challenge for the lover to move into the shadow, the cave you fear to enter, is to be able to face the fact that not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to love you, and you have permission to rummage around, find your armor and your helmet, step into the warrior category, and set some healthy boundaries and say, "That's not my job, that's not my circus and not my monkeys." To do this, we're going to have to take a trip down the diagonal into the house of the warrior. So the high connection and low struggle, compassionate, empathetic, relationship-based lovers at some point have got to pivot down into the house of the warrior in order to claim power, set healthy boundaries, and become decisive. The house of the warrior sits high struggle and low connection. And the reason for this is that to be able to do the stressful and sometimes traumatizing decisive actions of these men, we're going to have to disassociate from emotions, at least temporarily, to be able to do these challenging things. Gentlemen, you know that in your career, you often have to do things that are hard. We cannot sit in our emotions. We cannot spin in indecision. Oftentimes men have got to weapon up and be able to go to war and do the things we have to. This is the house of the warrior. The house of the warrior carries the heavy gold of being competitive and also decisive. And it's important to keep reiterating that the root of the word decide is to cut or kill. This is what the warriors do. They're able to make action out of indecision. If you want to get something moving in your life, at some point, you have to hear that call to adventure and you have to step across the threshold into your action. You sometimes have to do it without a plan. Sometimes you have to do it when you're uninspired. Sometimes you're unmotivated. This is the house of discipline. And there are times where, as men, we have to be able to access this warrior mode. But that powerful gold that the warrior brings to our tribe also is mined in heavy and deep shadow. Because to be decisive, we don't have time to deal with all those different shades of gray. We are yes or we are no. Is it right or is it wrong? Are you with us or are you against us? This is the binary view of the warrior when we are being decisive and we are on a quest. And this is what happens when we are being decisive in action. And so the challenge of the warrior is that in those shades of gray are a tremendous amount of incredibly valuable things. Most importantly, other people. So the shadow of the warrior is that sometimes we are being so fast and we are saying, if you are inspiring me, good. If you're weaponizing me, even better. But if you're not doing either one of those things, then get the hell out of my way. And we end up running over people when we're in warrior mode. Not everybody is as focused. Not everybody is as committed. Not everybody is as certain and decisive as we are. And it doesn't mean that they're bad. It means that they're doing something different. And if we run them over, we run the risk of outrunning our supply lines and ending up being that lone wolf. The mythological stories of humanity are filled with the lone wolf men, the lone rangers, the Rambos, who end up dying alone and unable to even take off their own armor. Warriors, you need to be able to be compassionate, patient, and connected with your tribe so that you can claim the full power that you're searching for that is only going to come with reciprocal and collaborative partnerships. So the warrior has got to be able to access the lover house and also partner with those powerful allies who balance us out and also will end up healing us. This is one of the most important tensions and balances in the archetypes of humanity.